Excelente ascoltarem l'himne nacional de Croàcia.
Away from home for Croatia as they bid to continue their run towards the 2010 World Cup in South Africa. They're away to a side they faced 5 times and beaten 5 times. Croatia are in the Pyrenees to face Andorra. The most recent time they were here, they struck 6. Prior to that, they scored 3. A big night for Ivan Juric of Genoa, who makes his competitive debut for Croatia, having made his international bow against Romania in the 2-1 victory last month. As for this part-time side of carpenters, doctors and electricians, Andorra are in their 54th competitive match, having won just 1 of the previous 53. All of our officials tonight come from Cyprus. The man in the middle is Leontios Stratou, assisted by Andreas Pape Paniotou and Aristides Christou. Big night for the captain of Andorra, Oscar Sonji, his 76th international tonight. Croatia have won the toss. Is that an omen? How busy a night will it be for Koldo, his 75th international appearance for Andorra. He'll be facing the crack strike force led by Ivan Klasnic, 10 goals in 35 internationals. A quiet time for Nantes this season, man who's played in the last 3 international tournaments, wearing 9, and his opposite number, Fernando Silva. Before all that, we have a minute's silence. Crowd of 4,000 inside the Estadio Comunal in Andorra la Vella, the capital of Andorra. And tonight sees the return at international level of Eduardo. His first international in 16 months since that horrific injury picked up while on club duty at St Andrews at the beginning of 2008. This man is getting his cards ready. Might be quite busy tonight. Andora have had 14 players booked in their 4 games so far. Croatia have seen 7 cards, one of those red. Previous meetings, 5 Croatian wins, 22 Croatian goals without reply. Andora have only scored 16 goals in their previous 53 competitive internationals and have won just the once. That was 5 years ago against Macedonia. And Mark Branaus, who got the goal, lines up in the heart of the Andorran defence tonight. Andora in their home choice kit of red, which means Croatia have to change from those familiar and famous white and red squares to their changed kit of blue. And Andorra, according to the bookmakers in the UK, are 200 to 1 to win tonight's tie. First touch for Ivan Klasnic of Nantes, man who could have represented Germany and Bosnia, born in Hamburg to Bosnian Croat parents. Fernando Silva. What a night for him under the shadow of the Pyrenees. Normally the biggest sporting event around these parts is the Tour de France. Well, international football comes to up on high tonight. Andorra, as you might expect, have lost each of their 4 games in Group 6 today. Going into this tie, England on top with 12 points, maximum points from their 4 matches. Croatia have got 7 from their 4, losing to England, drawing in the Ukraine. Controlled by Ivan Rakitic. Title challenge of his club in Germany, Schalke, has faltered. Croatia trying to make sure they don't falter. And for the first time tonight, and surely not the last, a corner for Croatia. After 2 minutes, put out by Jordi Escura. Good save by Koldau immediately. Klasnic letting fly. He's only ever scored once before against the Andorrans, and that was in the 7-0 home win in the Euro 2008 qualifiers. The last 3 games, by the way, have produced 17 goals. They've all gone one way. It's flicked up by Eduardo. His first touch back in international football in over a year. Not the tidiest of setups for Klasnic. Man who himself has fully gone through the pain barrier, just as Eduardo missed almost all of 2008. Klasnic had missed most of 2007. Kidney trouble and then kidney failure during an operation. Didn't mean that when he was playing in Euro 2008 to partner Dario Serna up front that he became the first footballer in a major championship to have previously kidney replaced. He's thankfully in the best of health now. Will Croatia be? The main question heading into this game is how many will they score? And that's with every respect to the opposition. Niko Kranjčar. And most of the noise is coming from the travelling support. Schala. Krusinac. successful times he's had in European competition with Zenit St. Petersburg, winning last season's UEFA Cup. Chala again of Trabzonspor, won the last 4 leagues and 3 cups back home with Dinamo Zagreb, before crossing over to Turkish football for €2.25 million last summer. Clearance by Oscar Sonyi, the captain. 76th international appearance for Andorra. Played in virtually every competitive match they play. Chala, his second international appearance, same with Ivan Juric. Both made their debut last month in the 2-1 win over Romania. Neither scoring in that game. Instead, Ivan Rakitic and Niko Kranjčar with those goals, put out by Escura. Good firm header across by Chala. Rakitic couldn't find a way past the red wall. I think every single Andorran player is not just inside their own half, but within 40 yards of their own goal. So, Slaven Bilic, how do you deal with that? Vajic of Hajduk splits. Kruzinac, good ball. Chala has pace, but he hasn't forced the corner. Goal kick results, last touch was off him. Good pace by the youngster. Man who's playing in much warmer climes now. These are the men who have the task of trying to inspire something from the touchlines, including the physical education school teacher, David Rodrigo. Must be, isn't. Klasnic couldn't connect. Eduardo at the near post, Klasnic at the far, and neither could connect. They're warming up though. Wonderful ball across first time by Kranjčar. And it needed a touch. It didn't get one. Both have only ever scored 1 goal against Andorra. They will both not just wanted to change tonight, but really ought to expect it. They only lost 2-0 in Barcelona, in the Olympic Stadium there to England. 2 goals from Joe Cole. Played Belarus here, lost 3-1. Goal coming from a Marc Puyol penalty. It tied it back at 1-1. They had dreams of a big result against moderate opposition, but it didn't come. And by my reckonings tonight, Andorra's formation is something like 10-0-0. Croatia's is 4-4-2. Chala, Kruzinac, Rakitic couldn't get there. It's with Hrvatska Vajic of Hajduk. Will definitely find Andorra much warmer than his previous posting of 2008. He was based in Siberia with Tom Tomsk of the Russian Football League, but now happily for him back in his native Split with Hajduk. Trust he didn't go to Siberia for the weather. Only the second away game for Croatia, and there are many noisy raucous fans. Controlled by Rakitic. Beautiful ball. What a goal that would have been. That would have been Van Basten-esque. Dario Sirna just over the top. Beautiful ball, and Sirna's control and volley was magnificent. It would have been one of the great goals. Can they pull it off again? Sirna couldn't control, and a good clearance by the captain, Oscar Sonnier. Plays with Santa Coloma, one of the big Andorran clubs. Most experienced current international. It's his 76th cap tonight. Most experienced Andorran international of all time. Highest all-time scorer, though, Ildefons Lima, who's got 5 in his career, is not fit to play tonight. Ildefons Lima may not be famous for terribly many things, but if you do happen to be Irish and watching, he's the man who got the goal that put Andorra ahead against Ireland at Lansdowne Road in 2001. Ireland came back to win that one, but what an embarrassment it would have been. It was in a World Cup qualifier for which the Irish managed to progress. Andorra have, I'm sure you're not surprised to hear, never qualified for an international tournament. Since becoming independent again, Croatia have qualified for 6 of the 7 that they have competed in. Ivan Juric of Genoa. Krajinic, long and useful, and it's Klasnic who's kept it in and kept it in well, and Sonnier has had to head out. Another Croatian corner. And it's all hands on deck for Andorra again. Eduardo! It's another one. Antonio Lima connecting with the head. Eduardo almost breaking the deadlock. Another well floated in corner by Sirna. And just took a deflection from the head of Eduardo. Out off Lima. They're waiting for the whistle this time. It's Sirna's corner. It's Eduardo. It's well saved. Andorra have the free kick. And Koldo is busy already. Great to see him back in a Croatia shirt. And Eduardo stuck cruelly, aptly on 13 international goals during his absence. Almost hitting the Valentine number. He'd have loved that, but Koldo denies it. So far in their 4 games for Croatia. England leading scorers in this group with 14. That's Mauricio Vieira. Short by Juric. Kranjčar. Slaven Bilic took over from Nico's father, Zlatko, who took charge for the 2 previous years, steered them through to the 2006 World Cup, but all came a cropper against Australia in that final match in Stuttgart. 2-2 draw where Josip Simonic famously got carded 3 times by the soon-to-retire referee. And now pundit with this channel, Graham Paul. On by Rakitic, good ball, breakthrough, 14 minutes, and it's Ivan Klasnic. And the dam is just about to burst. His 11th international goal is Croatia's first of the night. How many more do they need to get before there's a smile on the face of Slaven Bilic? Good control and a good finish, and Koldau is used to ones like that going past. Wonderful swift move, and Klasnic with the excellent finish beyond the Andorran keeper. This may well, folks, be the highest scoring match of the night. We already have the opener from Ivan Klasnic. A second may be on the way here. Good defending by Oskar Sonji. And a corner it is yet again. Cerna, the skipper, the currently highest scorer for his country of active internationals. He's about 30 behind the legend that was Davor Suker, who got 45. Cerna's on 17. It's his corner, and the header completely unmarked. Chorluka of Tottenham couldn't keep it down, a bit lower, and that could very easily have been 2. Should have been a corner. Came off the head of Mark Valles. Instead, Koldau has the goal kick. They met last October in Zagreb, a 4-0 win for Croatia. Prior to that, they came here in the Euro 2008 qualifiers, won 6-0. The year before that, in that same qualifying series, on home soil, Croatia won 7-0. Prior to that, 2-0 and 3-0 wins in Euro 2004 qualifiers. Croatia have got that goal-scoring habit against Andorra, and now they're looking to add to it, following that foul on Eduardo. Sonji, the offender. Juric and Cerna, the 2 over it. And this is Cerna, and he's gone for it direct. They'll try it from all angles, and that was Cerna's effort. But this the goal that divides them, well controlled and finished by Ivan Klasnic of Nantes. Cheer up, boys, you're ahead. Hrvatska Chala has let it fly through. His second international appearance, and this man has high standards. If he does more of that, it might be his last for a while. met by the head of Fernando Silva, and the foul is on Marc Puyol. This is his 40th international cap tonight. May not win too many games. If you live in Andorra, you've got a great chance of racking up a huge amount of caps. It evaded Brunhaus. Throw will be from Jordi Escura. 55th international appearance for him tonight. And trouble for Fernando Silva. Few Andorrans who knows the joy of scoring for his country, and he has quite a good strike rate. In his previous 25 games he scored 2. That was one potentially dodgy challenge on Xavi Andora. Next was on Fernando Silva. This is the national stadium of Andorra as well, hence the athletics track. This is David Rodrigo. Wasn't a footballer, but was a noted sports teacher. Coached the youth side of Arabia. The highest Catalonia. With a bit of success, crossed over to Benifar, and he brought them into the second division, the Segunda of La Liga in Spain, and that was good enough for the neighbours to knock on the door, ask him to take charge. It is Rodrigo's 11th year now as Andorra national coach, and for good measure he originally took over the under-21s as well. Well marshalled by Marc Puyol. Kranjčar. Luka's evading everyone, and he's won the throw. There will be a few words from the Cypriot referee. Vedran Čorluka, one of 3 English Premier League players in this Croatian starting 11, and 4 in the squad altogether. Wasn't happy with Fernando Silva. It was his challenge on Silva that cost the Andorran striker a bit of pain a few minutes ago. Good spread of impressive clubs that the Croatian team are with, by the way. And this is Dario Srna of Shakhtar Donetsk. They play Marseille next week in the quarter-finals of the UEFA Cup. It's a busy time for Srna and company at both club and country level. Another Andorran free kick, foul by Ivan Rakitic of Schalke. He's Croatia's leading all-time scorer against Andorra of the current squad. He's got 3. Petric has got 6 overall, but he's one of 7 players either injured or suspended for this tie from a Croatian point of view. It's long from Bernaus and too long. Only man to have scored a competitive winning goal for Andora against Macedonia in 2004. Every time they score a goal, it's almost headline news. 3-1 they lost to Belarus. Puyol scored that tail end of last year. Apart from that, they've lost 2-0 to England, 3-0 to Kazakhstan, and 4-0 to tonight's opponents thus far in Group 6. Escura was nudged by Kranjčar, but not illegally enough, according to Mr. Tratu. Rakitic. Good ball. Chala was offside. Fernando Silva is very much in the wars. Both he and Sonergy have scored 2 international goals, and Mark Puyol as well. Every time they get a good opportunity, and there haven't been many so far, managed to waste it very quickly. Given against Puyol. All of this team do play their football in Andorra. Alex Lasada, who's on the bench, plays for Binafar in the Tercera, the 3rd division, or the 4th flight of La Liga. I think I'd love Antonio Lima's full-time job, because he plays his football for and on Ibiza. And that's him. He's the man with the tan. Long looking for Mauricio Vieira. Serna leaves it for Chorluka, but rolls through towards Calder. Serna, who's won 4 league titles, and Vedran Chorluka, who's won 3. None of them with Manchester City or Tottenham, all with Dinamo Zagreb. A man who so far this season has scored in penalty shootouts for Manchester City and Tottenham. One in the UEFA Cup, the latter in the Carling Cup final, the only one that Tottenham scored against Manchester United. Chorluka's on the overlap, but won't be used. Instead it's Kranjčar. Thought about letting fly. Chorluka timed it perfectly. Stayed onside. Layoff is long for Chala. Rakitic. Chala. Lots of blue shirts to aim for, even more red. Kranjčar. Rakitic. Krusinic of Zenit. Chala of Trabzonspor. Was eventually cut out by Manolo Jimenez Soria. Vieira. Continue the run, but out it is. Andora's record defeat and Croatia's record victory coming in the same match, that 7-0 result. Wonder what the Andoran president makes of it so far. Kranjčar, dispossessed by Puyol. Rakitic. Vajic, he's continued the run forward. They're really pushing up in numbers all of a sudden, Croatia. They've only 2 back. Chala. Rakitic for Chala. Another corner. Blocked this time by Mark Puyol. Looks like another of those nights for Puyol. Man who'd rather be scoring as opposed to defending. Pushed out by the goalkeeper, Serna. And Caldo's got back in. Dado Serna at his usual dangerous best. 4 leagues and 4 cups with Shakhtar, but they are aiming more and more, as are most clubs in the Ukraine, for European glory. A lot of Champions League action he's seen. Makes him ever so valuable to the Croatian cause. Now Puyol can do some attacking. And there was Hervé Chala. Tense night so far for both managers. And that's deflected. The effort coming in low from Mauricio Vieira. Stipe Pletikosa in the Croatian goal, I don't think has touched the ball yet. He almost did there. Spun away the moment it left Vieira's boot. But from Croatia's point of view, any Andoran chance is surely a chance too many. Tension looks as if it's spilling out in the pitch as well. That's the man who plays his football on the island of Ibiza at club level, way down in the depths of the Spanish Liga. And this will be yellow card number 15 of the campaign for Andorra, because he's talked himself into trouble. .60 previous internationals for Lima. He gets a yellow card, as does Eduardo. A little bit of petulance from both. Yellow card for Lima. And for the boy from Rio. All a bit silly, really, and raised hands. Some referees might have been a lot more strict on that. Pletikosa comes and was never tested. Krasnic has the chance to cross again. Eduardo tried to pounce, but Lima was there first. it's Eduardo! Welcome back. His first international goal in 18 months. And Andorra now realise they've conceded. Eduardo's not happy either. But the goal stands. How happy is he to be back in national colours? The pain may never be worth it. But what a relief for Eduardo. 34 minutes. Back for Croatia. Shallow with the layoff. There was a claim of offside, which quite rightly was ignored. Lovely, swift first-time ball by the man who got the first to supply the second for Eduardo. Outside with the left foot. And 2-0 it is. Both men have now scored their second goal of all time against Andorra. 2-0 it is, and they're thirsty for more. Here's Chala. Plasnic, good layoff, try to find Eduardo. Andorra once did concede 8 against the Czech Republic, but got 1 back in reply, so that's a joint heaviest drubbing, along with that 7-0 in Zagreb back in October 2006. And also Croatia's biggest win, along with a 7-0 over Australia the week before France 98. When the ball was played, perfectly onside. Timed it to utter perfection, as he did with the finish. No complaints against Mr. Papapaniotou, the Cypriot linesman on the far side. Called it perfectly well. That's Eduardo's 14th goal for his country. Plasnic is now on 11. Possibly changes the half-time team talk of the Andorran manager, David Rodrigo. Panaus with the throw for Andorra, and that was dangerous, and play's going to be hauled up. Well, that's just stupid. It's coming from the Croatian fans, and those fans, by the way, are not inside the stadium. That's a road overlooking the pitch. Few Croatian fans who've travelled along in a caravan, and that will cause a hold-up. Well, that's the last thing that was needed. And Dario Serna, along with Ivica Krusinic remonstrating with those Croatian fans who are, I remind you, outside the stadium, not to throw those flares on. They've thrown 4 on. I'm just thinking, because they're outside the stadium, those fans who threw the flares onto the pitch, what jurisdiction FIFA actually would have to throw fines around, because they normally would fine the association, the home association, and the fans, and the match, as you can see, is now being held up until those fans put the flares away. Slaven Bilic is having a word now. You have to listen to Slaven Bilic. I do tend to get assigned some very strange football, but I guarantee I've never seen anything like this before. And I doubt in all his years Robert Prosinecki's seen that either. The fact is, they're not inside the stadium. There were 4 flares thrown in. That's the Cypriot referee Tratu speaking to the Andoran coach Rodrigo, who seems the most agitated of the two. Now look at those gestures from Rodrigo. I think he wants the game called off. You don't say no to this, man. The play's been held up for 3 or 4 minutes, and even though I'm sure the referee's been told to abandon the match, Leontios Tratu is going to make sure the game continues. It's unnerving for all concerned, I'm sure, but the show must go on, and it does. Well, let's see if common sense can reign. There's a public road up there, though I'm not sure what long term in the future they can actually do about it, apart from building a bigger wall. Fernando Silva chasing after it, but being second best. I'm sure the main thing that Slaven Bilic was saying was, make sure that don't do anything to get this game called off. We're winning. Well claimed by Fletcher, who you have to admire. He's had nothing to do all game apart from 1 goal kick prior to this, but he stayed sharp. Croatia have largely been as well. Not really a night to be spectacular for them, just to score goals, and as many as possible. Worth pointing out, though, that Andora are likely to finish bottom of the group, so when it comes to deciding who goes through for the playoffs, if Croatia do finish second, this game won't count because they're in a 16 group. Group 9 only contains 5 teams. So the other 8 groups, the bottom team's record will be expunged. And the top 8 of the 9 second places will play off against each other. It's only the 9 group winners who will go through. Scoring loads of goals to get a confidence boost. I just wonder how much at a time we're going to have. The game was held up for at least 4 minutes. There we go. Chala. Krzyżaniec. Chala. Last touch was Pujols. Krzyżaniec again. And his mantelpiece is getting bedecked with medals, one with Zenit St. Petersburg under Dick Advocaat in recent seasons. Forward for Vajic. Eduardo is still lurking. Rakitic tried to push it forward. This is Ivan Juric. Couldn't twist the screw any further though. Man base with Genoa. Lengthy career. Slow bloomer in terms of international football. He's 33 years old, and in his very first season in football helped Hajduk split to the 1995 Croatian League. Krzyżaniec again. Chala, I doubt, was ever going to get away with that. Familiar feeling with David Rodrigo. Now was the control of the hand of Hervé Chala. Like Juric, his second international appearance for Croatia, having made his debut last month in the 2-1 win away to Romania in the friendly. Andora were in friendly action themselves. They were beaten 3-1 away to Lithuania. Ildefons Lima with that goal as well to bring his tally up to 5 and set a new Andora national record. They could do with him tonight. Sirna, and on the overlap, this is Chorluka of Tottenham. Sirna of Shakhtar. Juric in support. Instead it's back for Vajic. And Chala, who seems to be suffering from stage fright, I must say, in his competitive debut. Back from Krzyżaniec for Plitikosa. Just his third touch of the game. Chala in support, but this is Rakitic, who's got the cross. Eduardo got the head. Sirna, but they couldn't get a third. Burnhouse will take the throw. It didn't look like at one stage as if it was going to happen, but we are going to reach the end of the first half with Croatia 2 goals to the good. Ivan Krzyżaniec, after 14 minutes opening the scoring, a lovely finish on the edge of the area, and then he would turn provider. Goal number 2 for Eduardo. making his international return with 11 minutes left in the first half. Slaven Bilic had to remonstrate with fans watching this game outside the stadium, and he's just glanced up at them as well, just to make sure there'd be no more naughtiness and the match wouldn't be abandoned. Those 4 flares thrown in just past the half-hour mark, just past the second goal, held up this tie for 4 minutes, but we have reached half-time, and it's Andora 0, Croatia 2. One of those strange first halves of football for the Cypriot referee Leontios Tratu, having to hold up this tie between Andorra and Croatia for 4 minutes after fans watching on a mountainous road overlooking the stadium threw flares onto the pitch. Croatia leading 2-0 as we enter this second half, with goals from Ivan Klasnic and Eduardo. It's the 2 goal scorers who will get us underway. A breezy night, a little bit chilly as you can tell too, with the scarf on Stipa Pleticosa, the Croatian keeper. But in saying that, he's nothing really to keep him warm in the first half. One of those nights in which it's not if, but by how many for Croatia. Klasnic and Eduardo have already got the goals for them. They'd like a few more. Would help with the goal difference to a certain extent, would help with the seedings. They got 2 in the first half. How many can they add in the second? Eduardo. Good break immediately by Dado Cerna, and Koldos had to come out within 20 seconds to stop that. Surely that's a taste of things to come. And here we go again. Well, I'm sorry, but that's the last thing we need, boys. Well, he's having words with his 4th official, Stelios Trifonas. If you weren't with us for the first half, these flares are coming from outside the stadium. We are up in the mountains in the Pyrenees, and there you can see. That's a road. One of the main roads out of the city of Andorra la Vella. All of those are watching for free. It's the last thing that Slaven Bilic needs. His side are 2-0 up. Delay of a minute, and away we go again. Considering they only scored twice in the first half, they'll be doing well to reach their record of 7. And Andorra, considering their furthest forward player, Fernando Silva, is on the halfway line, will be lucky to get 1. Now they're pushing men forward, but Manolo Soria wasn't far enough. He's one of 6 players in the squad who play with the Andoran champion Santa Coloma, but surprisingly, only 2 of those are in the starting 11. Quite a few of the first choice 11 for Andorra tonight play in the lower regions, the 4th tier of the Spanish league. 3rd tier, the Segunda B, is made up of 4 groups of 22. Then you go down to the what is officially known as the 3rd division, but which is actually the 4th, and it's something like 15 groups of 20. It's village football. It's away by Soria. And the door is opening for Eduardo, but it's slammed shut again. Sonergy policing it back through to Coldo. Last time Croatia had a decent World Cup run, you may remember Slaven Bilic was playing. France 98, they reached the semi-finals, lost to the French. Bilic tangling infamously with Laurent Blanc. French defender was sent off, but since then Croatia have qualified for the 2 subsequent World Cups, but have gone out in the group stages. Best performances in the Euros coming in 96 and 08, reaching the quarterfinals each time. Rakitic couldn't keep that in play. Testing night for the referee, but thankfully he won't be pulling his hair out. Long by Fernando Silva of Villanueva. 2 international goals to his name and a really decent strike record. This is his 26th international appearance tonight. Goal every 13 international games. Just beyond Escura. No changes on either side for this second half. Thought Rodrigo might have sprung the bench a little. There is a little bit of talent on it. 4 from the champion Santa Coloma, including Jenis Garcia, who's got the rare honour of scoring for Andorra. This is Vajic. Played just the 1 game at Euro 2008, that the 1-0 win over Poland. Klasnic, who got the opener. Born in Hamburg, played for the 2nd club of that northern German city, St. Pauli, based in the interesting Reeperbahn district of that town. Next 7 years at Werder Bremen, where he won the Bundesliga and the Cup, the Pokal, in 2004. He'd helped St. Pauli, by the way, to promotion to the top flight back in 2001, but they've subsequently dropped down to Zweite Bundesliga, Division 2 in Germany. Controlled by Xavi Andorra. In dive Puyol. Another long run from Hervé Vajec, who stayed at home with Hajduk Split. Vedran Čorluka hasn't. Queuing up again at the near post, but headed away strongly and firmly again by Oskar Sonigi. Must be a strange night for Slaven Bilic. When does he bring on Luka Modric and Nikola Kalinic? This is Klasnic. Croatia so far of only 2. Belarus scored 5 earlier tonight in this group away to Kazakhstan. Which means the Kazakhs now have conceded more in this group than anyone else, including Andorra. Must fancy their chances on home soil against Kazakhstan later in this campaign, later this year. They lost 3-0 in Almaty at the start of the campaign. Croatia seeing off the same opposition 3-0. Feels like we've had a few more goal attempts than that. By Mark Bernas of Aikido, held up by Hervé Chala. He's looked rather nervous in the 55 minutes so far, but that'll come with experience. First time he's played in a competitive game, and where better to do it than Italian Andorra. This is Xavi Andora, and he's committed the foul. Thirteenth appearance, no goal so far in international football. Will Bilic start making changes around the hour? It's a strong bench, along with Luka Modric. There's also Dario Knežević of Juventus, Nikola Kalinic of Hajduk Split, Vukojevic in defence as well of Dinamo Kiev. There is some talent there. Sore head for Marc Puyol. So what can Andorra do from this? They've sent everyone forward. Valos is there, Silva is there, Soria, Andorra, Puyol. Straight at Pleticosa. Card for Manolo Soria of Santa Columba, the St. Columbus club, and that's why. Very foolish. Lovely flick it was by Čorluka. Would very rarely get the time to do that in the English Premier League. Čorluka sent it forward, trying to find Dario Srna again. Held up by Soria. It's his 63rd time playing for his country tonight, and in the previous 62, he scored just the once. Cross by Hervé Vajec. Ivan Juric. Touched on first time by Rakitic. Looked as if it might have been a good, interesting move. There's a lone Andoran voice you can hear among all that. Never gave up the faith. This is Vajic. Well, it was a thumping ball across looking for Chorluka, but hit with far too much venom. Bernaus will take the throw. Fernando Silva in the wars. Great ascent into international management for Rodrigo. Proudly led Andora for a decade, easily their longest-serving manager. And he came onto the international scene in the mid-90s. Juric, and cut out. Changes will be on the way shortly. Throw by Chorluka. Vajic. Not giving up that fan, is it? Kruzanic. It's only a country of 70,000, so you can expect the Andoran fans would be outnumbered and outsung. You know how Croatian fans love to sing. Half an hour to add to that. This is Nico Kranjčar of Portsmouth. 3 times a cup winner. Twice a league champion. Honours with Dinamo Zagreb, Hajduk Split and Pompey. Rarity. What a good long ball forward for Eduardo, but claimed by Calder. Unusual for the one player to have not just lined up for both Dinamo and Hajduk, but to have also moved from one to the other. Serna was fouled. I remember seeing a recent game where a player did just what Serna had done, but was penalised for handball. Here is that change we were telling you about. It's the boy from Monaco, Nikola Pokrovac, who's set to come on. But before that, are we going to have another? Eduardo got the touch, and Kruzanic was at the back post but offside. So ample time for the first substitution of the match to be made. And for the 6th time, Nikola Pokrovac will come on for Croatia, and Ivan Juric is going off. The end of his 2nd international appearance. 33 years old he is now, Juric. Pokravac has 4 more caps and 10 less years. Jordi Escura couldn't keep it in. First touch for Pokravac. Man who helped Dinamo Zagreb to the League and Cup double last season before joining Monaco. Appearances for them have been few and far between since being sent off against Nice this time last year. Chorluka. Lots of movement inside. Beyond Klasnic, who'd run down the right, and Eduardo had run down the left. But a went between them and straight through to Koldo. Can detect a bit of frustration maybe is seeping in from Stipa Pleticosa. Andora have a chance to build here. Croatia haven't put them to the sword yet. Foul was by Antonio Lima this time. Scored that crucial penalty against Australia in Stuttgart in the World Cup in the 2-2 draw, but it wasn't enough. Rakitic, but it was out. Couldn't keep it in. And he is a real novice in terms of Andorran football. It's only the 7th time he's played for them tonight. He's put the ball out twice in a row. And they've scored 3 against Kazakhstan, 4 against Andorra so far before tonight. Croatia 0-0 away to the Ukraine, which is a good result. A 4-1 defeat at home to England, which was anything but. It's only a return of 25% from their efforts so far, Croatia. They're winning the noise battle. Final night of action in David Rodrigo's group until June. Andorra are away to Belarus, Croatia at home to the Ukraine. And Andorra are on their way 4 days later to Wembley. Croatia's next game is away to Belarus on the 19th of August. It all comes down to the final night. Croatia are away to Kazakhstan, and that could be useful. %78 possession now for Croatia. Too far for Manolo Soria. are even more frightening as we just glance down at our monitors here. There's another change for Croatia in the meantime. Chala being withdrawn, and for his 12th international appearance, it's Ognjen Vukojevic of Dinamo Kiev. One of these FIFA stats that takes a while to digest, but there have been 337 accurate Croatian passes so far, just 52 from Andora. 420 passes in all from the team in blue, and that's going up all the time. Pushed forward by Klasnic, but just beyond Eduardo. It's held up by Mauricio Vieira. Rakitic, that's long and dangerous, looking for Eduardo, but claimed by Calder. End of the second international appearance for Hrvatska Chala, and for Ivan Juric before him. 20 minutes for Croatia to add more. That'll be a free kick for Andora and a good chance. Shot by Hrvatska Vajic. Pijol pushed over. And opportunities here. It's Bernaus who'll take. Lots of movement. What a goal would do here. It's Bernaus with it. And again, it's straight at Pleticosa. The Croatian community in Australia watching this. Socceroos, as you all know, down there, agonisingly almost making it as the first qualifiers for next year's World Cup today. Useful 2-0 win over Uzbekistan, needed Bahrain and Qatar to draw, but instead Bahrain won 1-0. That might just run through to Dario Srna. Beyond Vukojevic, all of this World Cup action around the world means the club action suspended for the week. Those of you watching in Australia will have the Copa Libertadores back next Thursday. Estudiantes against Cruzeiro. It should be tasty. If you're a Croatian Aussie, you'd prefer a few more goals though, wouldn't you? A win is a win, but I just have a feeling Slaven Bilic would have a better demeanour on his face if there were more goals on the board. 2-0 inside 34 minutes, and since then nothing. Foul on Silva. So much possession. Not a lot done with it. He's had one of his more interesting nights, Leontios Tratu, the referee from Cyprus. This is Manolo Soria. And Dario Srna. Cerna, good cross. They were queuing up, and it's a good header back by Banaus. Croatian throw, which Pokravac will take. Cerna, the pressure builds again for Croatia. They've so many forward. It's only goalkeeper Platakoza who's in the Croatian half. That might change now. Attempted break by Puyol was stopped by Pokravac. This is Dario Cerna. Brilliant crossfield ball, but the execution was poor of the final cross from Ivan Rakitic. 2 goals against Andora in the 4-0 win in Zagreb. 3 goals all time against the same opposition. Still can't add to it. This is heading for Chorluka anyway. Stunted ambition constantly throughout the game from Andora. They're using the flanks well. Chorluka again, good cross. No major test of cold out. Looked like handball by Fernando Silva, but it mattered not, as Kršanić will find Chorluka. This is a good looking break. Eduardo. But couldn't find Klasnić. Here comes change number 3, and it's Nikola Kalinic, who will make his 3rd international appearance to replace Klasnić, who got goal number 1, and what a lovely finish it was too. Perfectly weighted in such a way that we've not seen too much more of in this tie. We weren't expecting a landslide, it hasn't quite happened. Here's Victor Moriera to come on for Andorra. Fransha really let fly against the captain, Oscar Sonici. Here's Xavi Andora. Pokravac. Vukojevic should continue the run forward, but wasn't in a position to make hay. He might now, though, with the throw. And Andorra have time to make their first change. Come in, number 9, your time is up. Fernando Silva, unable to add to his 2 international goals. So the man with Mexican blood, Victor Moriera Teixeira, is coming on. Most fouled Andorran player tonight, Silva has been. Another night of frustration in the red of his native land. Here we go again. And it's the last thing Croatia need with barely 11 minutes to go. Another flare. Now that's the third stoppage in the game. And I do hope they remove that from the long jump pit the next time the Andorran Athletics Championships come along. Too far for Cerna, who has a big week ahead with Shakhtar at home to Marseille in the first leg of their quarter-final of the UEFA Cup. Which will be on Setanta Sports in various regions, so as usual, check the listings. What a great that man was, Robert Prosinecki. Both for Croatia. Before that. Kranjčar. Lovely control by Čorluka. Can they make Andorra pay this time? Cerna. It's a deep ball. Eduardo couldn't get the bounce, but Caldo could. Eduardo controls it well and just needed another nanosecond to turn. But they have a throw and a chance to build, level with the edge of the Andorran penalty area. Controlled by Čorluka. Cerna's continued the run. Eduardo's come very deep. So much spare grass in the Croatian half. Picked up by Hrvatska Vajic again. Too far for Čorluka. They haven't quite caught a cold in the Pyrenees, but you can't blame Slaven Bilic for expecting a bit more. They haven't really had a decent chance in this second half. And on the overlap, it's Moreira who's going down the right-hand side. This is Soria going down the left. And policed by Čorluka, who has the throw for Croatia. Krusinac. By Cerna. Eduardo again couldn't control. Had the touch for goal number 2 late in the first half, set up by the opening goal scorer Ivan Klasnic. Take the points, but they'd have taken a few more goals as well. What can Kranjčar build this time? But clearance by Soria, which could cause more problems than solve. Kranjčar again laying off to Cerna. Controlled by Vukojevic. Scored that big goal for Dynamo Kiev against Metlis Kharkov in the Ukrainian derby in the last 16 of the UEFA Cup a couple of weeks ago. Puts them into the quarter-finals. That country is a real coming force in European football. Ukrainian eye is not really on this tie tonight, but something elsewhere in the group. Ukraine away to England. Croatia have held their end up here, but I think performance-wise would like to finish with a flourish, and Cerna is trying to provide that flourish now. It's a lovely ball to the back post for Kalinic. Pokrovac will try and continue to increase the danger, but was well denied by the captain of Andora, Oskar Sonici. I think they'll be proud. It's only 2-0 Andorra. It's another night in which they'll step away from a game pointless. Eduardo surely thought about a strike. He was in space. Cerna. Oh dear. Change number 2 is coming. This is Sergi Moreno. Antonio Lima will seem to be the man who will come off. It'd be food for thought for Messrs Bilic and Prosinecki. They have the win, but do they have everything they want tonight? Soria. Naus has got the touch of Dario Cerna, who has toiled laboriously tonight in emphatic style. Manolo Soria is being withdrawn. Sergi Moreno is on, the second change for Andorra. With 3 minutes to go, it's hard to see what Sergio Moreno can actually do now. The result it will be for Croatia, irrespective of the lack of goals. It would put them up to 10 points. And they'd be reliant on what happens at Wembley between England and the Ukraine. England going into tonight with 12 points. The Ukraine with 7. We're level with Croatia, who for half an hour at least would go clear into outright second. Croatian possession has dropped from that peak of 79% from midway through the second half. Andorra have grabbed a lot more of the ball in the last 20 minutes or so. Flick on came from the head of Nikola Kalinic. Battling with Jordi Escura. And the look in his face tells you all you need to know. And a couple of stoppages for flares as opposed to injuries, so maybe 2 minutes of added time to be confirmed. There'll be a third. Set to be mission accomplished for Croatia, as it was confirmed after 34 minutes. But they thought the flood of goals would continue high up in the Pyrenees. And that was not to be the case. Another free kick coming Andora's way, and there will be a few words from the referee with Nikola Kalinic. More for the reaction, I'm sure, than anything else. It was Valles who was sent flying, but there could have been a case as well for a Croatian free kick there for dangerous play. This is Victor Rodriguez Soria of the champion Santa Columba, who will come on, and Valles is gingerly striding away. He'll stay on for the time being. Controlled by Mauricio Vieira. And that's the perfect cue for the final change in the match. Jordi Escura. Barely got a mention all game. Barely got a touch all game. Off he goes. And Victor Rodriguez Soria will replace him. End of Escura's 55th international for Andorra. Hasn't scored yet. Doesn't look like it tonight either. Second international appearance for Victor Soria. Fresh, raw 21-year-old. Been given his fling on the global stage. For Vieira, instead Rakitic for Croatia. And finally they're attacking in numbers, Andorra. Why couldn't they have done this for the other 90 minutes? Moreno, Puyol. Vieira crowded out, and it's a Croatian try. Bayets will have it, but there'll be no attempt now, surely, to strike it long and aim for a third. Time is up, and the points are Croatia's. The match they dominated from start to finish, but could ultimately only score twice, despite the best intentions of Nikola Kalinic after he came on. The opening goal after 14 minutes from Ivan Klasnic, a cool finish from the edge of the area. The second set up by Klasnic, finished by Eduardo on 34. That's it from Andorra on the world stage until next month's Eurovision Song Contest. Their song is called Get a Life. Tonight, they couldn't get a goal. From Will Downing, it finishes Andorra 0, Croatia 2.